Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Before the event starts, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all participants to be ready as the forum will begin soon and please be seated. I have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin today's program. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this forum. All participants are required to switch on your camera and use the virtual background that has been provided in Telegram group. Your cooperation and attention are appreciated. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Before the event starts, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all participants to be ready as the forum will begin soon and please be seated. I have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin today's program. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this forum. All participants are required to switch on your camera and use the virtual background that has been provided in Telegram group. Your cooperation and attention are appreciated. Thank you. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Before the event starts, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all participants to be ready as the forum will begin soon and please be seated. I have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin today's program. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this forum. All participants are required to switch on your camera and use the virtual background that has been provided in Telegram group. Your cooperation and attention are appreciated. Thank you. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Before the event starts, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all participants to be ready as the forum will begin soon and please be seated. I have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin today's program. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this forum. All participants are required to switch on your camera and use the virtual background group. Your cooperation and attention are appreciated. Thank you. Hello. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be the MC for this forum. My name is Nur Faiza binti Johari from Orion Bellatrix Event Management, your MC for this morning. On behalf of Orion Bellatrix Committee, I would like to extend a very warm welcome and thank all participants for willing to take part in this Event Risk Management 101 Safety and Security Forum. To be fruitful and engaging. We hope that everyone will participate until the end because there will be a lucky draw session at the end of the event. Before we proceed with our forum session, let us start by singing the national anthem and followed by wawasan.
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setiaku untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa.
Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have been graced by the chance to gather in this momentous event forum. Before we move on, let us begin with the recitation of dua that will be led by Muhammad Idham bin Wahab.
Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka samiul alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innaka baru jawadul karim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran, Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan, di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan, kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karim, ya Rahim, Cucurilah rahmat dan rahimmu ke atas majlis yang akan diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Kami juga memohon perlindungan kepadamu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami dan daripada segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Kepadamu juga kami serah segala urusan kami. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa iyyaka abadna wa iyyaka masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you to Mr. Idham for the recitation of dua just now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greetings to Madam Noraini Taha, Football Administrator from Asean Football Federation, AAFF, Madam Sarinah binti Sabar, Advisor for the Forum of Event Risk Management 101, Safety and Security, Ms. Khairuna Kuratur Ain, Project Manager for Event Risk 101, Safety and Security Forum Event, and all audience and participants who are willing to attend this event forum. As you know, events draw large crowds of people together within defined spaces and as such have the potential to have significant impacts. Occupational health and safety requirements, legal duty of care, and the capacity of organization to deal with risk and crisis are important considerations for the sustainability of event organizations and event themselves. We hope that over the courses of this program, you will learn more about safety and security in event area. I will now turn this session over to our moderator, Nur Izzati Saifuddin. Over to you, Ms. Izzati.
Thank you to Ms. Faiza Johari, our MC for today. Assalamualaikum, hi, and a very good morning to our honorable speaker, Madam Noraini Taha, Football Administrator from Asean Football Federation, AFF. Distinguished guests, crew, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Event Risk Management 101, Safety and Security Forum. Hope all of you are in the pink of health. First, let me introduce myself. I am Izzati Saifuddin, your moderator for today. And I am glad to welcome Madam Noraini binti Taha, who will be our speaker for this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom meeting or YouTube control panel. I will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end of the forum session, as Puan Noraini Taha will answer questions from audience. Let us start off with Madam Noraini Taha's background. Madam Noraini Taha has 28 years of experience at the administration level with interpersonal skills. There are quite a few organizations which are a big name too that she has had experience working with. There is AFF, the Asian Football Federation, FAM, the Football Association of Malaysia. She has also worked with AFC, the Asian Football Confederation. Even with Astro too, Madam Noraini worked as departmental secretary in the Broadcast Operation Department. Even RHB was formerly known as Kwok Ying Bank Berhad, marked the start of her career as a junior auditor in the Internal Audit Department. During that time, Madam Noraini also took a part-time course in secretarial duties at Bedford Girls College. And now, here is our special guest, Madam Noraini binti Taha, the Football Administrator from Asean Football Federation, AFF. Based on your CV that I have been looking just now, you are known for your administrative responsibilities like the documentation process and being on site for events that you are part of. Can you share about these two responsibilities and how they are actually related? The floor is yours, Madam Noraini.
Sorry. Hello, Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Noraini Taha and I work as a football administrator in the ASEAN Football Federation. So with few years of experience in football organization, mainly in ASEAN countries, I usually do football event. Okay, I hope that our forum today would help students and everyone here to understand about the risks, as well as gaining some knowledge, understanding, experience from my experience in football competition at the international level. And again, I wish to thank you for inviting me to the forum. Before we start, I would like to ask in advance my apology if my explanation didn't meet your expectation. Yeah, it's my pleasure for being part of your team. Alhamdulillah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let me tell you about ASEAN Football Federation. Okay, ASEAN Football Federation, AFF, is the regional federation who mainly organize competitions within the member association across the ASEAN region. There are 12 member associations under ASEAN Football Federation. Australia, I have to remember, Australia, Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and the last one is Vietnam. There are 12 countries under AFF. Okay, AFF is under ASEAN territory. Under ASEAN territory, there are not only AFF. We have also East ASEAN Football Federation, which is EAFF. The country which is under EAFF is Japan, like Korea, China, Hong Kong, and we also have Central ASEAN Football, CAFA, that includes Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and South ASEAN Football Federation, SAFF, that includes Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Nepal, and the last one is West ASEAN Football Federation, which is that includes Iran, Saudi, Lebanon, Kuwait, Jordan, and many more in Middle East. Okay, we talk about the competition in AFF. The competition are organized principally to help the member associations to develop the teams, okay, from different level of age group. Usually AFF only organize grassroots competition, okay. This competition is organized for the team to get themselves prepared before entering another level of competitions in ASEAN or even in world level. Okay, for instance, we had the ASEAN AFF Futsal Championship that act as a qualifier competition for the teams to qualify to another event that is called AFC Asian Cup Futsal, which will be held in September. Okay, that is all about football competition that organized by ASEAN Football Federation. Okay, in terms of office work related, I will explain to you how do I go about working with AFF. Yeah. Okay. From the very start of preparation in terms of documentation, the Secretariat will have a master action plan as a reference. We always refer to that. Usually we will need like 2 or 3 months for everything to be compiled in terms of data and information that we will use when we are already on site. On site, what I mean here is the competition venue, the place that I go where hosts will organize competition centrally there. Okay. The information will include venue, stadium, training pitch, hotel, transportation, and etc. etc. We are, as an AFF, we are here to ensure that every requirement is fulfilled by the host in order to organize their punya centralized competition tersebut. So this include weekly meeting that we have to attend, agreement that we have to sign, inspection visit that we have to do, as well as inspection report. It's not only that, the involvement with the government authority, host broadcasting, commercial, sponsorship, obligation, and many more. Okay. You can interrupt, yeah, if you want to ask more. After that, we'll be preparing for matches, including the appointment of match officials that officiate in the game. That includes match commissioner, referee, referee, assistant referee, doctor, media officer, secretary, and many more. Okay. Then we will compile all the information with regards to the teams, to all the participating teams that participate in the competition, including the referee, and we store it into the football management system that we call FMP. FMP is Football Management Platform. All the information will be stored in the system that we will eventually use in the match days for reporting purposes. So those days when I worked with AFC, it was all in manual. So you can imagine the ton of work that we have to do when we do competitions overseas. Everything is manual. So I would like to thanks to IT for making my life easy. It has improved the way how we deal with the match reporting because everything is in our fingertips. Okay, that's all for the question that you asked.
Okay, thank you, Madam Noraini. And I do agree with the fact that IT made our life easier. So we've been through pre-COVID, during the COVID, and now we're transitioning to the endemic. What was your experience throughout all that phase? Say, in terms of safety, security, since the health issues were different between this period of time.
Okay, yes, we are already in the endemic era of the COVID-19. Alhamdulillah, syukur nikmat. But please keep in mind, even we think that we are safe, please don't forget that we are still fighting against it. Okay, in every AFF competitions organized, we still practice safe competition. And we have our own protocol actually for everyone to follow, apart from the host's protocol. The host, they have their own protocol. They have the authority who have their own protocol just to ensure that the competition is safe from COVID. So, and it is always when it comes to ensuring the health and safety for everyone involved in the competition during the pandemic, I would like to share that the cost involved is relatively high compared to during the normal era. You can understand that, right? It is very expensive. The host association have to spend a lot to fulfill the requirement to safeguard the health and safety of everyone involved in the tournament. Players, officials, referee, and everyone. If I'm not mistaken, it could go up to 3 times higher compared to during the era before COVID-19. But as everyone knows, football never stops, no matter what it takes, right? And the fans are all around the world. It will still be organized, even without the spectator. Remember 2 years ago when they were the virus sparked, there were no spectators in the stadium. Okay, I give you the clear picture of how it was implemented in Cambodia before. I was involved in the AFF under 23 championship in Cambodia. During that time, Cambodia just opened their border, and I see the excitement there. Everyone wants to go there and watch the match, no matter what it takes. So as a preventive measure, many protocols is set in order to make the match played, but to reduce the virus to spread. Okay, in football competition, have you ever heard of bubble, or to be exact, a medical bubble in centralized sports competition? Have you ever heard that? Do you know that the concept used for this term during the organization of football competitions? It is to protect the player. The main reason is to slowing down the infection of the disease. Kita boleh kurangkan the spread of COVID-19 when we are in the bubble. It works actually if you stay in the same circle, but you have to be disciplined. So AFF will also be appointing few experienced doctors that we call tournament doctor, that is responsible as a medical and infection control officer to deal with the issue. Bila ada je spread of virus, they will be the first one to act upon it. Okay. When it comes to organizing a competition among ASEAN countries, of course, the host will be expecting many people from outside that we wouldn't know whether they are carrying the virus or otherwise. We know for sure that the symptom develops only up to 2 or 3 days. And by that time, you can imagine that the spread is already, the virus is already spread to everyone else without we realize it, right? So the bubble, the medical bubble is required to solve the problem. Okay, now this is how it works. Imagine that the initial competition start on the 1st February. Yeah? For a start, every participant is required to do a PCR test, which is the pre-departure test that we have to take before we fly to the country. So it costs around 250 per person. If you are from Malaysia, so for other country, it might be a different cost, or maybe 300 ringgit, something like that. So in the previous requirement, if we do the competition, usually teams are required to arrive at the venue. Let's say when they punya kickoff day is on the 2nd, they have to come 2 days earlier, which is on the 31st, something like that. That means 2 days before the competition. But during the pandemic, they must reach the venue 3 or 4 days before the competition. You know why? Because the main reason is to fulfill the isolation requirement in the particular place, in the host country. Kalau country to require you to be isolated for 2 days, then you have to come additional extra 2 days just in order to serve the quarantine period, macam tu. So once they arrive, in my case, once I arrive in the airport, I have to do the RTK and PCR test together at the airport, okay, before they can release me to the hotel. So for your information, RTK is to allow me to be released to the hotel from the airport, and PCR is to ensure that I am perfectly fit to work and enter the bubble. That's how it goes. So in order to wait for the PCR result, which requires around 12 to 24 hours, I have to be isolated in the hotel room. Cannot go anywhere. The hotel will provide us with food, and it will serve in bento style just for 1 day only. So there you are. Once the result of PCR is out and it was found negative, then I can enter the bubble and start my work. That's how it works. So.
Oh. Okay.
Baru dengan suara you tanya. Okay.
So,
okay.
sorry to cut you off. Do you mind if I ask, since the cost spent is a lot, since it's the pandemic, is the crowd happen to be as many as before?
Crowd?
Yeah, the crowd, the spectators.
For in the stadium?
Yeah.
Okay, usually, during the pandemic area, they will limit the crowd. They will have SOP to follow. So let's say if the capacity of the stadium is 50,000, they may reduce it to only 15,000 or 10,000 in order just to make sure that the number of fans coming into the stadium is limited, in order not to spread the virus. Because we can't, if it's too many, then the host will not be able to test every one of them at the entrance, right? So that is part of things that they'll do. I can't hear you.
Okay, you said that every participant is required to do a PCR pre-departure that test that costs 250 ringgit.
250 ringgit around
250 ringgit Malaysia for an individual. If you are from Malaysia. So does the organizer spend money on the test cost, or is it the other way around? Like, do the participants themselves spend their own money?
Okay, in terms of pre-departure tests as well as the quarantine period, some of the countries they require to be quarantined at the hotel kan. Some of them you can be quarantined at home. So if let's say match commissioner or referee, it depends on the country. If the country require them to be quarantined at the hotel, AFF will cover the cost. AFF will cover the cost of quarantine. AFF will cover the cost of PCR test, departure and arrival. They can claim from AFF for that cost.
Oh, okay, I see. And from everyone's excitement because Cambodia has just opened their borders, I heard that a few team players was tested positive. How about the participant who was tested positive?
Okay, if it's in Cambodia, it will be, if you arrive and you were tested positive, you will need another 7 days quarantine. And the patient, if after they tested positive through PCR, the patient will be sent direct to the COVID-19 hospital, usually by ambulance. Okay, let me explain the situation again in Cambodia recently. Because you know why? When I was there, the infected participant throughout the event is more than 100. Can you imagine that it's more than 100?
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Okay, it was a problem actually for the hospital, for the doctors and everyone involved. Okay, we discovered that the first infected person came from Myanmar team. It was a chaos because the infected players spread the virus among other players and referees who took the same flight. And luckily, the flight taken by the team was a chartered flight. Can you imagine if it's from everyone else who took the flight? Okay, so
Yeah,
those
that'd be
who are in the same flight, it will be in the same bubble and it will not be contracted to other people who took the same flight. If you are if you're not taking any chartered flight, it will be troublesome. Can you imagine that? Okay, that's how it goes. So they cannot play. Actually, the team cannot play there during that time. They can't field the maximum of 7 players in the team because, if I'm not mistaken, almost 70% of the Myanmar delegation were infected. So that led them to withdraw from the competition as it sparks so fast. Oh, so can you imagine what will happen to the competition? So the competition will definitely affected. Fixtures need to be changed and opponent could not play. When overseas, you have to expect a different protocol as well, and cost for the hospitalization and quarantine is different. Some of the countries, the cost is very high. Some is not high. So that is where we need the COVID-19 or COVID-19 insurance or travel insurance, where that costs you around 150 to 300. This is another cost, right? That incur when you have this type of competition overseas during the pandemic. So not only the PCR test, we also have the insurance to buy. And this insurance also, when you are involved in the tournament, you will be under the cost of Asean Football Federation. Okay, so imagine the cost incurred for COVID-19 insurance alone for 10 teams of Masa competition in Cambodia. It was 10 teams participated. So one team, we have 40 participants with players as well as officials. So altogether for one team is 40. Can you imagine 10 teams? Time the COVID insurance that they have to buy, that we have to pay.
So how much roughly you spend, if you don't mind, I'm asking?
I have to calculate, but if I can't remember. Can you just calculate 40 person for one team, 40 kali dengan 10 team, kalikan dengan berapa lagi? 150 per person per head. It's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Not only that, throughout the competition, then for your information, the host is also responsible to conduct the RTK test every day. They will conduct the test every day to those who requires to officiate in the stadium. Siapa-siapa yang kena pergi stadium, kena buat antigen test dulu, just to ensure there's no infection when they arrive stadium. That's how the medical bubble works lah. From point A to point B. Okay, let's say point A is airport, from the airport to point B to the hotel. So from point B to the point C, the stadium. And then macam tu lah hari-hari. That is the only area that they can enter. That's why we call it bubble. It is not very interesting experience to share lah, because during those days, not during pandemic time, we can go anywhere we like actually. We can look for food outside. You know, you can buy other things outside. But if you are in the bubble, you don't get the chance to do all this. However, yeah, betul.
Yeah. I understand the frustration of not being able even to go out for shopping. So how long does it take for you to stay in certain places? Like, for example, you say Cambodia. How long does it take?
Okay, for the centralized competition, at least 14 to 16 days. Lama kan?
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so long and it's boring. Okay, I have another additional point. Okay, when we organize competition, kan, we can't only concentrate on the official who only took part in the competition only. If you look for kita ada transport, right? If we have transport, of course we have driver, right? Driver who transport players, driver who transport referee and official from the hotel to the stadium. Okay, not only the driver, the hotel people who serve us, yeah, from cleaning up our room, serving our food. Do you think that we could keep everyone in the bubble?
No.
Right? Unless if we are very, very rich, okay? Unless if we are very, very rich. We cannot keep everyone in the bubble. That's why it's actually exposed. So bila dah settle semua, let's say I said it's 14 days, right? It not stop there. Before we leave the country, we still have to do the departure test. We need to do the departure test again for participant before we leave the country, and more cost occurred. Right, ada lagi satu cost lagi yang kena ditanggung. And then when we fly and then we reach our country, like Indonesia, that those days they have to be isolated in the specific hotel provided by the government, and that is expensive. If you are not, let's say if you are not vaccinated, for the AFL competition, everyone must be vaccinated, at least 2 vaccine. Those who are not vaccinated, depends. If you are full vaccinated, then you can be quarantined for 5 days. If you only like 2 vaccine, then you have to stay there another 7 days. So it is costly. It depends actually. So all participating teams and delegation, sebelum diorang depart pun, some of them they have to check with the airlines that they take. There are some airlines who require PCR test, must. If not, they cannot board the flight. So the LOC will assist and make arrangement for these tests at their specific time. Let's say they have to be 48 hours before departure, so they will do the test and produce certificate in order for them to travel back to their home country. That is how it works during pandemic. Banyak kan?
Yeah. So it must be a risk for each one of you because it took a lot of time, like 2 weeks to be in the bubble.
Actually, yes. That is how you handle it, because you are not alone there. You have your friends, you have other officials as well. So you just go with the flow, be with them, eat with them, spend time. That's how I did
Yeah.
actually.
So the participants are required to stay in the bubble for 14 days. I can say that being healthy is a luxury. How were safety and security ensured during those times?
You mean for the health, right?
Yeah.
How it works for the health requirement actually during the organization of the football competition during the pandemic. Having a medical officer who have wide experience in handling the COVID issue is a necessity. You must have an experienced doctor. You really must have the experienced doctor to handle this, especially during my time in Cambodia. Okay, I can see the tournament doctor was very busy. The tournament doctor that time was female. She has to go from official hotel and then to make sure that the test is done at the team's hotel as well as at the stadium to make sure everyone is tested in order to start the game. Okay, I tell you about the match, medical preparation, yeah. Dekat stadium, we have to have a clear zoning system. Kita kena ada strict access control protocol. Yang kena ada shall be put in place to minimize contact between the different groups of people. Okay, at all times, the number of personnel with each zone should be kept at the absolute minimum required. Tak boleh ramai-ramai. Sebab kita ada SOP to follow. At least we have ambulances, at least 2 ambulances at the stadium with crews equipped which are required prior to starting a match. Kena ada. Itu semua adalah match protocol that we must have. Okay. We also have a pitch doctor, the fully equipped pitch doctor with equipment yang sentiasa ada in every sidelines of every stadium. Okay, kena ada medical room, VIP and medical station. Kena ada everywhere throughout the competition venue just to render medical point of care on match days. Memang kena prepare betul-betul. And then for all the entrances pun, kita ada temperature check station to identify kalau ada yang dia punya temperature high, we can isolate them to another room. So everything has to be prepared. Stadium must have a room for them to be isolated. Okay, and these are all the protocols that we must follow. We have to follow the local government protocol to minimize health and safety. Same goes juga to the security of the stadium. Kita kena ada security officer juga, sama juga untuk health precaution. Kita kena ada health officer to handle the matter.
Okay. Do you have a specific medical officer that will follow you around, or a different medical officer depending on the country? Okay.
AFF competition, we will get one AFF tournament doctor to handle. That will be responsible throughout the game and assisted by the local medical officer. Local medical officer is appointed by the host that they get from the hospitals in the country to assist, who has the experience, in order for them to make sure that the protocol is in line. So kalau kita ada our own medical officer, he or she has to study the medical protocol in that country itself in order for them to work together. Senang kalau ada yang contracted with virus, they know what to do, they know where to send, they know which hospital to send, and so many more. Okay.
Okay. So I agree that the medical officer who has a wide experience in competition during the COVID issue is a necessity to ensure everyone's safety. You have handled both national and international sports events. what were the differences that you have experienced among the teams?
Tak ada masalah sangatlah. It's all the same. Okay. When handling in national or even an international level, when it comes to football event, basic requirements shall be in line with the requirements set by FIFA. Okay. When we talk about member association, they are answerable to FIFA. Not only to ASEAN Football Federation, they only answerable to FIFA. The only difference that I always foresee is only the communication barriers, which everyone aware of. But it's okay, we are okay with that. It's not so much problem. When it comes to, most of the time when it comes to match protocol, in every matches, we have match commissioner who commission the match entirely. Let's say kalau centralized tournament, the match commissioner will be responsible in the organization of the entire competition, entire championship. Macam saya cakap tadi, the 14 days, that is the centralized tournament that the match commissioner is responsible. He or she will be responsible of any issue. He will be answerable to any issue from the participating teams. Kalau ada difficulties from the participating teams, from anyone who in the tournament, he or she will assist. He will find a solution for any problems and guide them through all protocols in place set by AFF or the host country. Okay, I at the Secretariat will usually support the match commissioner in terms of documentation, in terms of regulations, what to follow, so forth. Kalau you tanya tadi for Indonesia, Philippines or Thailand, I will say that I don't have much problem, except communication for Thailand especially. Kalau Indonesia, we use the same language, and Philippines, they speak fluent English, so kita tak ada masalah. And at the same time, whenever hosts organize the competition, they will appoint an English-speaking local to help in communication. These people is local assistant who most of the time will assist us communication. Most of the time they will take the local assistant from university because they can speak English. So alhamdulillah kat situ tak ada masalah. But when it comes to fan, yes, I would say Indonesia is the most passionate, most fanatic fan in the Southeast Asian region. In the past 10 years, especially when the match between Indonesia and Malaysia when it take place, okay, I tell you, it's quite rare for the match held between these two countries were held without incident. Mesti ada incident. Especially when the match is held in Indonesia. Okay. Fan is spectator.
Scary. It's
I
scary.
remember there was a time during the Asean AFF Under-19 in Indonesia. The under-19 players and officials were pelted by missiles after aging. The reason I can't remember the result, maybe 1-1 the time during the semi-finalists. Okay, so they were, they will throw many things. They will throw bottles. They even throw urine during the match. Okay, so many things that happened. Several attempts were made by the Indonesia fans actually to trespass into the away fan. Maknanya kalau diorang punya area dekat A, they will try to trespass and go to B just to fight with the away team. I remember there was a time where Malaysia won. They had to cut short their celebration, after the match ended 3-2. Okay, when Malaysia won, because there are several dangerous attempts made by the home fans after the final whistle. So the visitors also has to evacuate the stadium. They cannot they cannot celebrate the winning. So overall, in terms of security and safety, for my side, it's taken care of by the host authority. Sometimes they provide. It depends on the level of the match actually. Kalau macam Indonesia dengan match ni memang kita kena cakap dengan security, kita kena cakap dengan host, you have to be very very careful with this match. You have to make sure that you equip your stadium with the proper police, with the experienced FRU or army or fire brigade. Okay, the fire brigade is to put on standby in case kadang kita tak tahu ada fire. Sometimes bring bomb. This kind of thing can be brought in by the spectators. We cannot check spectators one by one. What is in your bag? No, we can't. Because when it comes to the competition between Malaysia and Indonesia, memang ramai orang datang, ramai spectators datang. Sometimes diorang boleh panjat stadium, okay, in order to watch them. Can you imagine that? Okay.
Okay, I can totally see why. Because fans' attitudes, they are not easy for you to expect. And usually for sports events, when setting up the venue, how long will the planning take and what are the preventive measures being taken to ensure that everything goes smoothly, specifically relating to the safety and security?
Yang macam mana lagi sekali?
Usually for sports events, when setting up the venue, how long will the planning take and what are the preventive measures being taken to ensure that everything goes smoothly?
Oh, yang itu 2 or 3
yeah.
months before holding the competition, depending on the level. Kita kena tahu the playing teams, the type of spectators, whether it is age group, macam kalau like say under 15 tu not so bad lah. Sebab tapi kalau under 19, under 23 they are going to adult, right? So dia punya fan tu banyak, spectators dia banyak. So host will organize series of discussion, series of implementation with AFF and the authority that represent the host country on the security issue. That is the most important thing to resolve. For instance, host responsibility is to choose which stadium to use. Sama ada stadium tu selamat untuk jalankan permainan. Which training center to be used for the tournament. Sama ada training center tu it's open or it's closed circuit. So kita tahu sama ada kita boleh nampak kat situ sama ada tempat tu berbahaya ke atau tak berbahaya, selamat atau tidak. Usually our representative will do the inspection visit with the host and their safety authority to ensure that the security matters memang are the top priority. Benda tu memang kena jaga. When we talk about the stadium and training field for the competition, the requirement for the stadium, requirement for the competition must follow FIFA guideline. Memang macam I cakap tadi kan, everything has to follow FIFA. In this context, stadium representative is involved. So siapa yang jaga stadium tu, okay? In every organisation, member association does not own stadium, ya, kita sewa. So sebab tu kita kena ada stadium representative to be involved, so that everything is apa saja yang kita tanya dia orang akan sediakan. Okay, dia orang kena tahu the representative from the stadium must be equipped with information and the proper solution when it comes to security measure. Okay, saya bagi example another the stadium dekat Bukit Jalil National Stadium is not belong to FA Malaysia, ya. It belongs to Perbadanan Stadium Nasional Bukit Jalil. So we could imagine many protocol and requirement need to be resolved. Banyak benda nak kena bincang. Okay. So sebab tu kita perlu ada series of inspection just to resolve this issue before the start of the competition.
So the stadium does not belong to the member of association.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And let's jump on to the next question. Will the security be in the stadium or it also covers the vicinity of the whole stadium?
It's everywhere actually, depending on the level of competition. Macam I cakap tadi lah, kalau competition biasa-biasa tu less security officer, safety officer, and depends on the playing teams as well. Kalau macam Laos main dengan Thailand, kita tahu siapa menang kan, so you know, so even at the entrance of the parking, we could see the police authority and escort on site to ensure the safety of the match, depending on the level of competition, level of match as well. Okay, I explain why. Think of Bukit Jalil Stadium again. Bukit Jalil ada 90,000 capacities. When it comes to football, it is 90,000 capacity. Every member association yang buat tournament, buat match dekat Bukit Jalil Stadium ni shall appoint a national security officer from the host. Macam FA Malaysia, dia orang kena appoint a national security officer. This person must have experience of working with public authority, with the police service, as well as the prior knowledge. You know, usually kita guna orang-orang yang memang experience, yang dah pencen tu kan, yang memang police, head of police or something, yang ada power to handle this kind of thing. Yang ada knowledge of event organisation issues, yang ada knowledge on spectator supervision, dan macam-macam lagi in terms of safety. So the stadium security officer untuk host association is mainly responsible and also answerable of matters pertaining to the safety of everyone in the stadium. Kalau apa-apa jadi, dia lah yang kena menjawab. Dia kena jaga stadium, not only the supporters, bukan players, bukan supporters saja. Dia kena jaga delegation. Dia orang kena jaga VVIP at the stadium. You know that VVIP, that includes of royalty, prime minister, minister, president, and also ambassador from the playing teams. So benda-benda macam ni kita memang kena jaga. So that's where we need experience and large number of securities at every angle of the stadium. Dekat stadium Bukit Jalil aja, at least 3,000 securities are needed. Banyak kan?
Yeah.
For your information before I go further, in other country there was one. The fines, because if anything happen, the host country will be fined, by AFC or FIFA. Okay, every host is responsible and will be fined for any issues arise due to the damage or fight at the stadium. Your information, the highest fine in history that I read somewhere was $250,000 related to security and safety in the stadium.
Wow.
So benda-benda macam ni memang diorang memang kena make sure strict stadium guidelines to be followed. Okay, it can be found at the FIFA stadium safety and security regulations, just to ensure semuanya ada kat situ, boleh baca kat situ for the reference. Okay. Kena jaga. Okay, I tell you, kita buat stadium just for, not only for others, ada sport events kan, tapi mainly for football, betul tak? So every time in any country, if they plan to do the stadium, they have to actually refer to the guideline from the FIFA, so that they can see the structure of the stadium, macam mana, whether the structure will provide protection daripada effect fire, effect of smokes, or even from the throwing of hard object into the field kan, kadang-kadang kan dia kena ada safety measure. Tak mau player kena baling, kadang-kadang fan ni dia baling batu lah, dia baling botol lah, dia baling kencing, semua benda dia boleh buat. Okay, even the route in the stadium for fans, player and official pun kita kena jaga. It's important actually to provide stadium emergency plan. Benda tu memang kena ada, kena produce to the host. The host have to produce to us with a clear picture of corridor, clear picture of stairway that provide proper system in route. In terms, kalau kadang-kadang kalau ada stampede kan, tiba-tiba ada orang mengamuk ke apa, dia orang macam-macam jadi, so they have to evacuate themselves. They have to go out of the stadium, okay, when there is a stampede. Stadium pun kena prepare juga, not only in the stadium, but the host should make ensure that there is a place away from the building in which fan, kalau in immediately danger, they can go to that place. Imagine, like I said, the stampede in the stadium due to fight between home and the away country. Bila full capacity, kita tak tahu mana nak pergi, betul tak?
Yeah.
Kalau full capacity, kalau Bukit Jalil 90,000, full capacity, if anything happen, where would they go? So this kind of route and things are very important. So that's why before any country plan to be on the football stadium, every aspect of requirement shall in line with the requirements set by the FIFA. FIFA has everything there, so we just have to follow. Kita tak boleh macam let's say, okay, Perak nak buat satu stadium. They cannot just do the stadium level. They have to refer to the requirement of FIFA. So that in the future, when we want to hold the tournament internationally, we can use the stadium. Kan dah bagus bila sebab requirement is followed, so we can hold the football match in Perak Stadium, for example.
So previously you mentioned like about the VVIP. At every match, will the VVIP be included or certain matches only like the final matches?
It depends whether they want to attend, they will inform the host. Let's say ambassador from the playing teams kan. Kadang-kadang dia orang kata, okay, I want to witness the match between Indonesia and also Thailand. So the ambassador from Thailand and Indonesia will try to contact the host association and tell them that they are coming. So the host will prepare for them, the VVIP box we call it, for them to be seated. So that's how we go.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that before any country plans on building a football stadium, every aspect of the requirement should be in line with the requirement set by FIFA. If there's a back-to-back game and several stadiums are used, what are the SOPs to make sure that the safety and security for each stadium are used? Like different places have different checking measures at the entrance.
Benda tu jarang jadi, tapi ada terjadi. Memang ada. Especially when we have to air the match at the same time. Okay, we use different medium. So when we air the match, especially when it involves broadcast, we will have simultaneous kickoff punya match. So for that time, for that preparation, what we'll do, whatever that we prepare for the first match stadium will be the same as the second stadium. Double preparation, double security, double match officials, and of course, semuanya memang kena jagalah. Takut nanti, but it still also depends on the level of the competition. Kadang-kadang the first stadium, which is the main stadium tu, memang dia akan bagi match played by the higher level of participating team, macam Thailand lah lawan Indonesia. Maybe in the second stadium tu cuma normal team saja, Laos lawan Cambodia ke. So kita boleh expect that there will be more fans in the main stadium and less fans at the second stadium, even though it will be done simultaneously. Tetapi the preparation in terms of everything is double.
Okay. So were you usually involved in this back-to-back game?
Ada, memang selalu ada. But I have to choose one stadium. I have to choose one stadium that I will be stationed. The other one, they will just communicate to me. We have WhatsApp. You just tell us, okay, this is the score. I'm telling you, this is the score of the match. Okay, what is the current score? And then I will tell you, okay, this is what happened during the first half. Ada berapa red card, ada berapa cautions and all that. They will update me. It is not so much problem.
Okay. I see. Are there any differences in the SOPs implemented between countries to countries in order to ensure the safety and security?
Yes, of course, because different countries have different protocols, requirements and they have different SOP as well. Not only in terms of COVID, banyak lagi different in terms of punya safety diorang macam mana. Some of them they have different procedures. For instance, ada country yang gunakan army instead of police to control their stadium. Okay. So, tapi we in AFF, we have our own protocol juga that every host can follow to overcome. Every issues are there in terms of safety, health and security. We call that protocol as a match operation protocol. We have it AFF has it. So everyone can just follow that.
Oh, okay. So we have a question from Adra, the audience. They ask that, are you prepared for anything that might happen like a riot?
Riot, macam protes tu kan? Okay.
Yeah.
During the event, memang macam-macam terjadi. Okay, it depends on the level of competition lah. I have never experienced myself nearby any major incident. Tak adalah duduk dekat-dekat, okay tiba-tiba ada orang baling batu, tak ada.
Oh, thank God.
Because I never usually stay indoor. Because I was usually stay indoor because I'm in the secretariat room. Kadang-kadang dalam secretariat room tu ada TV play the match. So I can just watch the match from the secretariat room. I don't have to go to. But if I want to see the crowd, I can always go outside and see the crowd. Okay. There are a number of occasions that involve violent spectators, especially in football competition. The reason usually the same lah. When there is argument among players in the field of play, kan, so they are triggered. Some of them they are not satisfied with the referee decision pun, so they are triggered. So bila dia orang triggered, when the spectators triggered, dia orang memang akan buat macam-macam.
Yeah.
Some of them they will involve. Some of them is only small incident at the stadium, like throwing bottles and hard objects. Yang itu that will requires intervention from the authority lah yang ada kat situ. Some of them ada besar punya riot lah, macam when they rush into the field of play, tiba-tiba fan terjun, and then rush of play. Benda tu macam tu memang selalu terjadi. Sebab tu kalau you tengok dekat stadium Bukit Jalil, ada satu area in between field of play dengan spectators, ada satu longkang besar. Kalau you perasan, that is why the spectators to jump. Kalau dia jump, dia masuk dalam longkang tu. So in the stadium, security presence is a must. Memang kena ada. Same goes to the medical. In case of the injuries of the spectators kan, benda macam ni, these two issue aspect is related to each other. Okay, some of the country, in order to strengthen the security, the tournament committee will actually suggest them to use army juga as a standby. That is the preventive measures. Kena ada standby group that host to make available throughout the event in case there is major incident. Kita takut kalau rush into the field of play ramai-ramai, diorang bukan rush saja-saja rush je. Kadang-kadang diorang bawa benda-benda tajam, gunting, pisau and all that. That is very important for us to look into. Sometimes this incident is not only happen inside. It can actually happen outside, continuously happen outside the stadium tu. Tu sebab kadang-kadang kita tengok ada orang bergaduh kat luar stadium, pukul-pukul. Itulah, that is the thing that usually happen during the competition. Memang bahaya tapi it's fun actually.
Yeah, I get it. So the protocol requirement and SOPs are different depending on countries. If you don't mind, what are some of the bureaucracies that you have faced?
Sorry, I'm not in the position to answer this, especially when it involves politics. So I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. It's okay, madam. I understand. So we'll jump to another question. If there is a severe incident that occurs during the event, how do you cope with the situations? Like, what are the emergency response team that would be involved?
Tadi rasanya dah tanya soalan tu. Kita gunakan our FRU.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Kita gunakan FRU, kita gunakan Army, kita gunakan Fire Brigade. Semuanya kena get that teams ready, available all the time at the stadium.
Okay, that's a very clear picture and I understand more about it now. So
Okay.
based on the previous question, what will the organization that usually do damage control?
Okay. Damage control, macam let's say kalau ada apa-apa terjadi pada the competition itself, right? Okay, this will be under the jurisdiction of the tournament committee. Every competition will have tournament committee. The tournament committee who will discuss and decide the next action to be taken in order to ensure the reputation of the competition. The reputation nama baik competition will not be tarnished. Kita kena jaga nama baik competition tu.
Yeah.
Takut malu pada AFF, takut malu pada the host country. So, contoh, when competition committee mutually agreed with the final decision of the issue or incident in a particular match, we will get the AFF president to do the press conference with the media to justify everything, and then they will produce the press release. That is how we take. Usually every incident will be justified and the committee will ensure that the security, selalunya it's all about security lah. Selalunya it's all about security. They will promise for the next match, they will try to strengthen the security in the next game, they will try to put additional security officer, and they will recruit many more and equip many more. Okay, my latest experience was during the semi-final match between Timor-Leste and Laos. Ada issue in the AFF Under-23 Championship in Cambodia. It was a last-minute decision by the team when Laos team cancelled the game. You know why? Because they cancelled the game at the last minute due to the COVID-19 virus that spread among their players. Okay, sebab diorang punya team tu kena withdraw because they were not able to the minimum number of 7 players in the match. It is in the regulation, this is in the FIFA regulation that we have to at least fill a minimum player of 7. Tapi in this case, tak ada. Memang tak cukup player. And as such, the third and fourth placing match between Laos and Timor-Leste will not take place as scheduled. Ramai juga lah orang yang complain kan. Remember when I told you about Myanmar who had to withdraw due to the whole delegation also and COVID-19? That is also part of the issue that need to be controlled and managed. Yeah? Kita manage by doing the press release because we receive many complaints from everyone, especially from the social media. Riot tu sama juga lah when it comes to riot. Kita akan justify by promising that we will ensure that the next game will be equipped with a proper equipped security that we will involve in. Macam tu lah cara kita mengatasi perkara-perkara macam ni.
Okay, Madam Noraini, here's another question from YouTube. It's from an audience, Muhammad Aimullah. Is it any stadium to build needs to meet all the requirements or must have approval from the FIFA first before the project starts?
Okay, it will only need to fulfill the requirement when the playing teams involved is from the member, from the group A team, list A team, which we want to report to FIFA. Macam kita main negeri, kita main Malaysia lawan Cambodia. Kalau macam Perak lawan Negeri Sembilan, they have to follow FAM punya requirement. Okay, benda-benda macam tu. Kalau when involve national, that is the thing that we have to follow because we are member association. Malaysia is member association. They are the country which is under FIFA and AFC as well. So they have to follow the requirement made by FIFA.
Okay, so I think it must have been frustrating for the players, fans, and even the organizers when games are cancelled. But it's unavoidable because of the virus. So if there's a situation where the players or even if the event organizer are tested positive for COVID, what will be done? Like, is there any procedure? How do you control so that others does not get infected with COVID too?
Okay, when you are tested positive, you know, you really have to be isolated for 7 days. If you're free, after that, you can resume your activities. If you're still positive after 7 days, you will have to get the medical officer to assist and will refer you to the hospital for further evaluation and treatment. Okay, it is how it goes. If I explain to you. Okay, if an individual is tested positive on the RTK, he will be required to do a confirmatory test and will be placed in isolation center until result come out. Okay.
Oh.
Kalau it turns negative, he will still remain in isolation and will still undergo the daily rapid antigen swab test until 7 days. Until day 7. Maknanya kena buat hari-hari lah. If any of the test out negative, dia boleh resume their activity but will be under strict practice or minimum health standard. Kena wear face mask, frequent hand washing, hand sanitizing, maintaining physical distance. Dia pandai-pandai jagalah diri dia kan. Kalau it turns out positive, the LOC, the local organizer will refer them to medical officer or hospital for evaluation, for further evaluation and treatment. All the guidelines and recommendations of the Department of Health on this situation must be here lah, kena follow juga. So it is the team and individual responsibility to follow the guidelines in place by the health authorities in the host country. Okay.
So, I think we stop here because you have shared a very wonderful and informative and also such an interesting thought about all your experiences and knowledge. We have listened to and gained a lot in the handling of sports event from Madam Noraini today. Her sharing of experience really makes us see the other perspective when handling sports event. So now we will be jumping on to the Q&A session. Ladies and gentlemen who have questions are pleased to ask them in the chat box, either in Zoom meeting or YouTube. Now I will pass the floor back to our MC, Ms. Faiza Johari.
Thank you, our moderator, Ms. Izzati. And thank you so much, Madam Noraini, Taha, for an amazing and informative explanation about safety and security that tends to happen in sport event, especially in event area. I hope you all enjoyed this amazing presentation. Now, let's begin with Q&A session. So, the first question is the first question it is from me, Ms. Noraini. I'd like to ask, how did you adapt well transitioning from doing tasks that in a manual way to using modern device?
Transitioning from manual to IT, it was
Yes,
amazing.
true.
I really enjoyed it. Okay, because previously when we do everything manual, I cannot sleep on the first 3 days when I arrive to venue. Everything need to be done in terms of the name of the parties, name of the players. I have to key in name of the players. I have to key in the official's name. I have to make sure and find out who will officiate in the match, who are the referees, who are the assistant referees, who are the match commissioners. I have to find and compile everything every day for every match. That's what happened last time. But when it comes to the football management platform that we are using now, everything is in the fingertips. all is taught. Even the appointment of the match commissioner, appointment of the referee SSA is all done by the match commissioner. I don't have to worry about that. So whenever the match starts, the official who officiate the match will report everything in the system, report all the result, report all the cautions happen, everything in the system, and I'll just print out and get the approval. That is all. It is really amazing for me because it is, it's all in our fingertips. You can just refer. We don't have to do a filing system where you keep everything in the system and have to make sure that we have to take the file in order to check. No, everything is in the fingertips. We can check even in the phone, all the result and everything. Yeah, it was very good actually.
I see. So everything is much easier by using technology, right? Okay. So we have question from members on the blog. In what age range category for the player to join the team?
We have few categories. We have under 15, we have under 16, we have under 18, under 23, depending, because sometimes when we organize a competition, like I said before, it's for them to be able to qualify to the next AFC competition. Let's say for under 18 AFC competition, we have to make sure that they play for the under 18 competition as well under AFF. So the best team for that event itself will qualify to the AFC competitions. That's how it works. Okay, usually AFF is organizing grassroots competition, which I said earlier, under 15, under 16, under 18, under 19, and under 23. But don't forget, it's not only football. It's not for men only. We also have women's competition, girls competitions, futsal, as well as beach soccer. So in a year, we can expect 8 or 9 centralized competitions under Asian Football Federation.
I see. Now I get a new knowledge because as for a girl like me who not usually watch football, so now I know that there is other sport under AFF also. Okay, so let's jump to another question from YouTube comments. Regardless of what has happened, there will definitely be a next change. As you plan the course of action, are you under security pressure in planning the action plan?
Security pressure, not really, because it's not under my line. It will be under management discussion to handle that. Okay, usually when it comes to security and safety, they will highlight that to the management, and management will do what they're supposed to do. They will overcome that issue by discussing the matter in the committee level. That's how
Okay,
it works.
Puan Noraini, here's a question from me. What are the equipment that usually being used for security control in handling the crowds?
How do I say? They have the special equipment like safety officer. They must have their own gun, right? But they don't use that. That is only for them to be in case if anything happen, right? But other equipment, I'm not so sure of. But we have a fire brigade to handle that issue as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, here's another question. Is it fun for you to handle the competition overseas? I mean, in the international level competitions.
Yes, it's fun actually, because you get to meet so many people from so many different so many people
Yeah.
from different country. You get you create a relationship with them. friendship with them. You know, you will understand their style, their language, and all that. It is fun actually to be around these people, especially football people. You know, they are open, and most of them are male, not female. So it was fun actually. I get to go because in the competition we actually, let's say for 14 days competition, it's not everyday matches. You know, we have because in the competition we have group match, we have we have knockout stage, right? So before the knockout stage, from group match to the knockout stage, we will be given 1 day rest for us to spend our days, or maybe we can just go out. You know, this is before the pandemic. When I talk about before pandemic, I get to go out, do the sightseeing, shopping.
Yeah.
It was fun actually. I really look forward when everything is open, everything not in bubble anymore, because that is the only time that we have, you know, or to rest. That is the only time we have to go around and see other people in different country when we are doing it overseas. Betul tak? It was fun. It was fun. I look forward actually to go. Any other question?
Sorry, Madam Noraini, for the technical problem. So it seems that the time is very jealous of us. We are only going to take last question for today. The last question is, in terms of food, is it hard to get halal food?
In ASEAN countries, okay, listed all the 12 countries that I went. Vietnam is the most difficult place to get halal food. But in every regulations that we set for every tournament, the host country should be able to provide halal food to participating teams from Malaysia, because most of them are Muslim, right? Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. Okay, the host must provide halal food no matter what. Okay, if they cannot, they have to inform us by telling us what are the food that they can provide, which is, okay, let's say if they cannot get chicken, some of the chicken is not slaughtered, so they cannot provide that, right? So they have to prepare other food just to make sure that these people get halal food. Okay, for other countries like Indonesia, Thailand, senang saja, tak ada masalah untuk get the halal food. It will be provided because this is ASEAN countries, right? Some of the hotel they have chef from Malaysia, some of them who understand what we want to eat, okay, who understand the way how a Muslim eats, okay, so we don't have to worry about that. But if we go to other place macam Japan ke, macam Korea ke pun, dah banyak orang Malaysia kat sana kan, so we don't have any problem like that actually. To get halal food is not that difficult nowadays.
So halal food is not an issue lah, is it? Okay, so since we have
their food or not.
Sorry.
The issue is whether you can eat their food or not. Because
I see.
it's different type of food, right?
Yeah.
I whatever they ask me to try, as long as it's halal.
All right. So, Madam, since we have quite an active participants today, so I'll take this one last question from Adra, which is, there are 3 types of security: passive, active, and operational. Sure, you are prepared. However, sometimes things don't go as planned. Do you have any other plans? Have you ever seen your health worsen?
If you're asking about me, especially me personally, you asked about health worsen, is it? When my condition of health, is it?
I think if according to that question, yes, it is.
Okay, so far no. So far, I managed to keep myself healthy when I do competitions overseas. I always take a precaution not to be in a crowd, take care of my SOP, make sure I wear my face mask, clean my hands every time, and you know the SOP, that the usual SOP that you have to do. Alhamdulillah, throughout my experience doing events overseas under bubble during the pandemic, there were no issues arise to me. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, glad hearing that. So I hope the explanation that Puan Noraini gives answered all participant questions. Okay, thank you again, Puan Noraini, for answering those questions and for the great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Now let's move on to the most awaited session, which is Lucky Draw. Before that, allow me to switch this session into Bahasa. Okay, so sekarang dekat tangan saya ada satu berkas yang berisi nama para peserta yang telah mendaftar. Okay, jika nama anda disebut, sila komen saya di dalam ruangan chat box sama ada di Zoom meeting mahupun di YouTube Live. Okay, so yang pertama, pemenang cabutan bertuah yang pertama ialah Arif Hakimi bin Mat Yusof. So ada tak Arif Hakimi? Arif Hakimi bin Mat Yusof? Okay. Tahniah. Okay, nanti pihak kami akan hubungi anda sebentar lagi. Okay. Okay, yang kedua. Pemenang cabutan bertuah yang kedua ialah Fariha Nadia binti Roshdi. Fariha Nadia binti Roshdi, ada tak? Okey, tahniah. Nanti tim kami akan hubungi anda untuk klaim hadiah. Sama-sama. Okey, yang ketiga. Nurul Yasmin binti Jasri. Nurul Yasmin binti Jasri ada tak? Okey, tahniah Yasmin. Alright. Pemenang cabutan bertuah yang keempat ialah Nurul Faiza Hazri binti Edi Hazri. Ada tak Nurul Faiza Hazri binti Edi Hazri? Okey, tahniah Faiza. Okey, seterusnya kita akan umumkan pemenang untuk grand prize iaitu hadiah utama kita dan tanpa membuang masa, saya menjemput Project Manager Event Risk Management 101 Safety and Security Karina Keratoain untuk mencabut nama pemenang cabutan bertuah untuk grand prize. Okay. Untuk pemenang grand prize iaitu hadiah utama, pemenang bertuah ialah tak ada round. Okay. Nur Azrina binti Syakirin. Nur Azrina 1. Nur Azrina 2. Nur Azrina tak nak hadiah ke? Nur Azrina 3. Tak ada? Betul tak ada? Tak nak hadiah? Okey, kalau tak ada, maksudnya bukan rezeki Nur Azrina dan kita akan cabut lagi sekali. Okey. Pemenang hadiah utama jatuh kepada Norzinitul Niza binti Ibrahim. Norzinitul Niza binti Ibrahim. Okey, tahniah Zinitul. Alright. Jadi, tahniah untuk semua pemenang cabutan bertuah. Yang tak dapat tu jangan sesedih, okey? InsyaAllah ada rezeki anda semua di lain hari. Jadi sekarang kita ada photography session, which is semua boleh on camera. Okay, dah pakai cantik, dah pakai hand sensor, kita kena on camera, kita nak ambil gambar ramai-ramai. Okay, so far ada 1, 2, 3, 4, baru 5 orang. Yang lain on camera. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, kita bagi 30 second kejap. Tunggu semua on camera. Wah, nampaknya kita punya partisipan hari ni cantik-cantik, handsome-handsome. Yang lain tu yang tak buka lagi, boleh buka kamera ya. Kita bagi 30 second. Okay, so multi ready? Okay. Semua senyum. 1, 2, 3. Lagi sekali. 1, 2, 3. Apa please tak nampak? Muka tak ada? Okay, tak apa. Terima kasih abang pakai helmet. Tetap jalan kita punya forum hari ni. Terima kasih. Okay, so photography session ended. Okay, by that, we have come to the end of today's forum. I like to close this forum by thanking all of the participants for their participation in today's forum. I would also like to thank Ms. Izzati for serving as our moderator this afternoon, as well as Madam Noraini Taha for spending your time to be our speaker for today, and not to forget our advisor for this forum, Madam Sarina binti Sabar. Before we end the forum session, let us sing UiTM di Hatiku song. Ladies and gentlemen, before leaving the meeting, please scan the attendance and feedback QR code or click the link given in the comment section and fill in the feedback form to claim your e-certificate. Hope to see everyone in the future again. Thank you and have a good day. Bye everyone. Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.